Do you have the winning mindset? Do you know what it takes to go to the next level? Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Join us every week for the Winning Mindset Podcast.
Hello. Welcome to the Winning Mindset Podcast. I am Monica Nisira Washington. I am here with the great co-host, Miss Christian Davis. And today, good people, we have another great person in the podcast. I ain't gonna say too much, but I'm telling you, this today is Mr. Derrick D.P. Pearson. And we're real excited to get into this podcast. Gonna turn it over to the host, Christian. Let's get on in here with Mr. D.P. Pearson. How you doing today, Mr. Pearson?
I'm good. I'm blessed. You know how I get down. I say thank you because this day is special. It's number 22,092 for me. So to spend 22,092 with y'all is a choice, and it's a blessing, and it's a gift, and it shows favor. So I speak to it. I'm gonna say thank you for spending the day with me because you're a special part of my 2292. So I'm good to be here, blessed to be here, and thankful for being here.
We are just as thankful. We appreciate you for spending today with us. We'll go ahead and get started. First things first, we all know you, of course, but if someone's just now getting to know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and your accomplishments and all that good stuff.
Oh, let's wind it up then. My grandmother told me a long time ago, never live a life that people could describe in 30 seconds. That is the mission. And she used to ask me, what's your name, little boy? Like she would ask me that because after your name is life. After your name is the hyphen between when you're born and when you leave. And it has to have purpose and meaning. I am the son of a queen. Found out later in life that my mother's actual name was Queen Elizabeth. And once you find that out, it gives you another thing to your name. So now you have to live worthy of a queen. And that changes the way that you approach and receive things, that you have to be in that space. I'm originally from Arlington, Virginia, which is right across the bridge from Washington, D.C., born and raised, yes, Queen. Nisi, no, when we talk about being from the DMV, being a child of diversity and being around a lot of different type of people, so learning how to assimilate and accommodate at the same time, right? That I need to be uniquely myself, but I need to be open to something different and other people. I thought of myself as an athlete before I recognized that athlete and sports was just the vehicle for what I was going to be. Right? Sports was just going to be the thing that made everything else move. But then I found out that this writing thing and this educator thing and this mentor thing was way more who I was than the stuff that I was doing. Sports was just supposed to take me there. And so I played college and baseball, got out of that, got into business, and then business got into me, and you started doing all the things. So I coached 3 sports at the high school and semi-pro and professional levels, football, baseball, basketball. And then through that, I created this thing called Love Prints. And Love Prints, it was simply this idea that our time on Earth here as humans, we like to define it as we leave our carbon footprint on the planet. But to me, that wasn't personal enough. That wasn't human enough. It wasn't real enough. So I said, if we do this right, it shouldn't be a carbon footprint. It should be a love print. It should be a simple thing that every time we engage, or every time I see Miss Nisi, I give her love first because that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. Kristen, when I meet you, I'm supposed to say, Kristen, love. Like I'm supposed to leave you more covered in love than I found you. And that's everything, every situation, which requires that I'm present. that I have to be present to see Kristen. I have to say, Kristen, I see you and I love whatever you bring and whatever you got right now. And we're going to love it better than we found it. And we're going to leave it better. See, and through that, it requires action. And so as we meet and engage, what is required of me as a human is to love you out loud. The only regret that I have in this world is not making sure that people knew how loved they were. That's the mission, is to let people know, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, you are loved, now let's go. So love and action together is a love print. Whenever those two things are together, it is a love print, and it will leave the thing better than that. I currently am a sports radio station owner. I'm one of 107 people of color in America who own a radio station. Doesn't happen often, but each blessing and each act of favor led me to here. And in this space, what I chose to do in it was, one, I needed to have more people of color heard. Two, I needed more women heard. So in this space that I'm currently in, I currently have more women on the air with a microphone than all the other stations in the country combined. That's the mission. I guess the mission. If I've got 23 young ladies who get on a microphone every week, I've done a thing and I've added a thing. If I've got people of color who are being talked about in this sports field, at least be known and be heard. It's like, oh, I'm more than the cat under the helmet. I'm more than that dude. So we're introducing the people behind sports to sports fans. We're doing it in this space. My mission is simple, to educate more people in this, to give more people opportunity to have shows and to learn the business and to be in this space. And then through the grace of God and all the glory, I meet Kristen and Nisi, and through a space where we're becoming, again, more things behind the name, best-selling authors. We're becoming podcasters, we're becoming show hosts, we're becoming voices, we're becoming narrative changers, we're changing the space, the environment, the perception of what people who look like us, who come from us, what we actually are, right? And we get to say who we are rather than having people talk about us. So that's what this life for me is about, is by leaving it better. Like when I go, what they not gonna say is that I didn't do everything I could to make it better. That's the mission each and every day. Make it a little better for everybody that you can. You can't reach everybody. But right now in this space, because I'm present, I can reach Nisi, I can reach Kristen, I can make you smile, I can let you ponder the next person you're gonna make smile. You can think about, in the course of this conversation, you can think about all the people that you want to see smile today. And if I get you right, if I touch you the right way, when we're done with this, we're going to go cover some more. Like that's what this is for.
That is amazing. That's question one that I had, and I could make a whole show just behind that. We got some more to go, but I love that. And thank you for giving people a voice. That's so huge.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I love that your mother's name was Queen. I love it. That was my great grandmother's name. And same thing. I was just like, oh, Queen. We're queens and kings and princesses and whatnot. I loved it. So I'm with you on that one. We'll pick one obstacle because I know you've probably had a lot of experiences, but if you could describe one obstacle that you've encountered and how that helped you kind of become you, DP, who you are.
It's funny. The greater your location and the greater your elevation, the more friction is required. Like you cannot have success. You cannot learn lessons without having an obstacle to learn from. You need a situation, circumstance that makes you stop where you are, ponder, and then choose to go forward and up from there. Like, and that's one of the greatest men I knew was my father-in-law, who, before he passed, I love that man, but he said, if you're looking for me, if you ever have a question about where to go or where to find me, look forward and up, because that's where everything good is. And you go, oh, wow. So no matter what happens, several pieces of friction. I think a great one would be that we didn't know our history. We as people of color, we don't know our history. Like, we really don't. Like, we think we know, but we don't know it. My situation was a little bit typical in that I didn't know who my biological father was. And I didn't really come to it heavy in life until later in life. I was 55 years old. Then, because of science, I started to find out, well, wait a minute, here's who you really are. I found out what my name was supposed to be. I met the man that helped create me. I met more family like me who, like, if you ever feel lost and wonder while you wander, right? Those two things that we do together, we wonder while we wander. And then you find out that, wait, I do know who I am. And there are people who are just like me, who look just like me, right? They act like me, and it's more people. And then you found out, oh, I'm more loved than I thought I was. And I'm more connected than I thought I was. And I'll blow your mind. I got to do a couple of TED Talks because this information led me to more information. And one of the feature was that I learned that through science, we're 99.9% through DNA the same, absolutely identical. Every one of us on this planet, 99.9% the same, identical, page for page, 1,000 pages, 999 of them the same. You get to one page, and instead of car, it says automobile. Instead of the words matter, and there's 3 million different varieties behind it. But because of that, you learn how connected we are. And then once you learn how connected we are, I learned that I can't blame anybody in America for anything that America does well or wrong. Why? Because I'm 6 generations connected to both Barack Obama and Donald Trump. I can't blame anybody for anything. Ain't no point in me like finger pointing, being mad. I have to talk to the person. The person did right. The person did wrong. My people are responsible for everything. And once we accept, one, that we cousins anyway, we're all cousins anyway, we all share the same 10 times great grandmothers, right? But okay, it ain't that deep. It ain't that deep. Then I have to be accountable. And then I have to want my family to all do better, to all be better. And it doesn't matter who it is that I'm wishing better for, because they're all mine, they're all ours, and we're all going to be better every time somebody we root for does better, gets better, lives better. That was the friction for me, was learning who I was, and then learning through that who everybody else was. As the poet says, you have no idea about who you are or aren't until you are or aren't. You have no idea who you are until you know who you aren't. And I had to go through that and learn that. And you talk about winning. Winning is when you know better. Every time you know better, every time you do better, every time you see better, you're winning.
Love that. And that's I've never heard it said like that, where we have ownership of everyone because we're all cousins. I like that. I'm gonna start using that. We're all cousins. So you kind of touched on it a little bit, but can you describe a little bit more about that winning mindset and what that looks like for you, and how you view the winning mindset?
People misuse winning as a result rather than a process. See, there's a difference between winning and won. Winning is the process. Winning is the literal step by step, by thought, by action to better. To better. Winning for a team that's won 0 games. I'm a coach, and I've coached really talented teams and not so talented teams. So you have to redefine winning for that space, and it's different for them. The team that won 0 games at the end of the season could win 3 games and had a greater process of winning than the team who won 9, ended up winning 10, but didn't reach the thing that they wanted to reach. Winning for you has to be the thing. And it just means in the very next thing that we do, we're going to do better in it. Now, that's not results tied to. Better is, am I paying attention? How do I feel while I'm in it? Am I better? Did I get something from it? Was there a lesson in it? Did I actually accept the lesson? Did I learn that something else needs to be fixed? Did I need to work on something else? Do I need in the process? Like if you make $30,000 a year and because of your work, because of the process, you earn more, you have a greater win than the person who makes $1 million who's miserable because they don't understand how they got it or what they're supposed to do with it. Winning is different in each situation. Is it better? Did love appear? Was a lesson learned? Again, I've coached championship teams and teams that didn't have a winning record at the end of the season. But the best coaching jobs I did was getting that team who hadn't won 0 games and had 0 scholar athletes on it to winning 8 games and creating 7 scholar athletes while I'm at it. Oh, if I'm sending 4 kids to the Naval Academy, the highest level, it doesn't matter if I won 12 games or not. We changed everything in the space to get kids in the space who weren't loved and to love them, to get student athletes to go home and say thank you to mom, and then to take a task that mom normally does and learn to do it themselves so that they're not a burden to the people that love them, to teach gentlemen in that space to honor the queens in their space, not because there's some benefit, because it's what you're supposed to do. It's the good. Winning for me has, sometimes we say, sometimes the classroom is the court. Sometimes I'm teaching them in the locker room rather than on the court. Sometimes hugging them is the win. And to get young people to think in the moment about the thing that they're trying to accomplish and the person they're trying to be, that's the definition of winning to me, is better people, producing better people in the space that you're in. That's winning for me. Is, look, there are coaches that win titles that aren't good people and they're not winning in life. I'm winning in life because the kids who I've coached for 30 some odd years are now parents and coaches. Some, they've invited me to their wedding. Some have named their kids after me. That's winning. That's winning. For real, that's winning.
That is winning. That's I can't think of any way to win more than that. And I like your definition, just being better. You kind of talked about applying the winning mindset already, but do you think you can give another example of when you personally have said, okay, I'm going to change my mindset to that of winning, and change the situation around?
So as an athlete and kind of an all-around sport athlete, four-sport athlete, like I had 4 sports that I loved. But as an athlete, I felt like walking was beneath me. I hated walking. Hated it. Like bored it. People I see walking in the neighborhood, I'm like, do better. I had a medical situation where I ended up in the ICU. Post-surgery, 30 years of coaching 3 sports, spinal fusion, I needed to go in and have them fix my spine. So you talk about the humbling, the great humbling, that you got to learn to do everything again. And you got to trust humans with your spine. Like, okay, not real sure. Well, they botched the surgery and I woke up and I had blood clots. Now, when you hear people passing away from surgery, it's usually blood clots. It's a blood clot that got it. I had 27. And then I had what's called a saddle embolism, which let those blood clots, it let 3 in my heart, 4 in my lungs. And then it wrapped itself around my bronchial stem. Imagine a horse saddle, and it just wrapped itself around my bronchial stem to choke me out. I'm supposed to be done, like done. But that day I asked for one more day. I'm like, I used to say, look, man, I've lived a full life. I have lived a full life. I've lived 10 full lives. But that day, the conversation changed because I said, listen, I know what I said, but if you don't mind, I like to hang around for a while. I got stuff to do. So if you would give me one more day, and they tell you with blood clots that it gets you in your sleep. So imagine being a grown man being afraid to go to sleep because you're not sure you're going to wake up. And then so the 3 things that I say the most often, thank you for the day, because I learned to say thank you every morning. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Open one eye. Woo, made it. Hey, we here. Then you have to love yourself enough to get up and do all the stuff that humbled you and that will keep you here. And the doctor said, you know what? You got to drink more water. You got to put down the sodas. You need to drink more water. Okay. Humble. Yes, got you. And you need to walk. Like you are here with a full body cast on and you're not supposed to bend or twist, but you can walk. So we're going to ask you to walk. And so I had to accept and love a thing that I despised because it was good for me. And I had to do it to be here for myself. And I had to be here for the people I care about. And I had to do it because it was the right thing to do. So when you get humbled, when a great person in their mind gets humbled to the point they have to do 2 very basic things and accept how much power they have over them, that water and walking have full power over me, then I got, you know what? And then at the end of the day, after I've done those things, I made it through the day. So today is day 22,092. I say thank you. I say love you 22,092. And at the end of the day, if I make it to the end of it, I say, well done. And then I'll do it again tomorrow on the next day, whatever number that is, specific to that day. I can't think about the grand scheme and the larger thing. I have to be present in this day. That is what, to me, each practice, each shot we take, every time we throw a pitch, every time we swing a bat, every time I turn on a microphone, every time I put my fingers to the keyboard to type a thing, it's in that day, in that moment, to make it better because, and it's one of my favorite words, because, just because.
Just because. Love that too. I'm writing and typing things as you're saying them just to have in my repertoire to remind myself. Sometimes I love all these gems you're giving us. I do want to hit momentarily on the actual chapter that you contributed to the winning mindset without giving us all of it because we've got to go out and buy it. Can you talk a little bit about what your chapter kind of focused on?
Well, winning is a thing that, like I said, I've coached at every level, every type of athlete, every type of person, every color, every gender, every religion, everything. And what I had to learn was simple, that it was my responsibility as a human, to simply do what I could to make it better. Right? To talk about a group of kids who I didn't want to coach. I was asked last minute to coach a group of high school kids whose coaches bailed on them. And they were alone. And they had a thing that they loved and nobody to lead them. And I was going to move from Northern Virginia to Houston, Texas. So I was like 1 foot out the door, I was done. And I get the call. To easily say that this was the least talented team I'd ever been around. Ever. Any level, the worst. Except they had never been loved and they had never been led. Now, imagine walking into a room where there are 13 young men with their arms open, their eyes open, their hearts open. And they have to be retaught to love themselves in a space that has not been loving to them. Because they weren't having success in it. And nobody wanted to love them or lead them. The greatest coaching job I ever did over the course of the season was to take a group of young people who were unloved and unled and to teach them not only what love and leading is, but at the end of the season, that they were doing it themselves, for themselves, that I could pass it on. Again, the mission leaving them more covered in love than I found them. They end up winning the last 6 games that they played that season in a row. And to this day, I'm prouder of the love that I put on that team than any other team that I've ever been a part of, because they had the longest journey from 0 to whatever they got to. And these are some exceptional young men. I mean, they are professional DJs now. They went to military academy. They led their universities from a student standpoint. They're out in life, leading and loving because they know how and because it's who they are now. And they're making the communities that they're in better than they found them. And that was what was in my chapter.
Wow, they needed you. I'm a big believer in we are, even if we don't want to, we get put in situations when we're supposed to be in them. And so that's all I keep thinking. They needed you when that happened. So
the universe is smarter than we are. It constantly puts us in places that are good for us and good for them. The best thing about this, though, I mean, in the selfish sense, is that I got more from them because I got loved by 13 young men.
mm-hmm.
Like it was one coach and I get one person and I get to say words and reach one person, except it reaches a community of folks. And then they will speak in my word to the people that they come in contact with. Can't get better than that.
Agreed. I agree. Miss Nisi, did you want to add anything in or ask any extra questions?
I don't have anything that I want to ask, but I do want to say that I understand why he's where he's at. Of course, coming from Arlington, Virginia, and this area in the DMV, full of diversity. First of all, he took that, put it in his pocket, went somewhere else in the world, giving women a voice. And we all, it's me and you as a woman, we sometimes know the struggle with that. That's great. And then being a man of color, owning his own radio station, powerful. And most of all, he did it with love. That's the chapter in the book, Love is Winning. So when I read that, everything is love more, without giving away the book. But because he gave love, like you said, the universe is powerful. It found its way back around. So when you ask for one more day, love found you. And I'm sure with probably a higher prayer, higher God, however you pray, but love being the best. That's all I want to say. I'm done. I'm full. I'm full. I knew I would be full.
Well, it's that through what we do, we become who we are. It's not the other way around. It is your action that resonates the loudest, the longest, farthest reaching. And when given amplification, love should be the first thing. It has to be the first thing. And it's in this day and age, it's almost rebellious I'm a big dude. You know what it's like when you tell people as a big man of color, that fear is often the first thing people meet me with. Well, to disarm them and to make them comfortable, it's easy for me. And I say this thing and I do it all the time. So I go in these rooms with these big alpha males and, they're 300 pounds and I walk up to them and I'll look them, I'm going to get me straight in the eye. And I'll say to you, there's a thing that I carry with me every day that's undefeated. It's undefeated. Talk about winning. The thing that wins constantly, consistently, smile. My smile has never lost. It's undefeated. And people, so is yours. And people never walk around with the greatest weapon that they have, the greatest business card, the greatest confirmation, the greatest reaffirmation, the greatest power is to walk in a room and take your smile with you as the first thing that you give. It's the last thing that you give. It's the thing that people are left with. They never forget. When you think of people, and they're good people, you think of them with their smile. And that's how you know you home. That's how you know you home, you know you won. That smile. It's everything.
You are so right. I have a tendency to do that, just put people at ease and smile. And I've seen a lot of people, they're not bad people, but they will always say, I can't do that. I don't like that. And they think it's fake, and it's not fake. I'm expressing to you that I'm genuinely happy to be in your presence. And that's what, I think, and I imagine you too, we're trying to convey, I'm just happy you're here, or I'm happy to be here with you, not let me fake it. I want to show you I'm happy you're here.
Love, there's two signs I have. Love is welcome here, and love lives here.
Yeah.
They're on my desk. They just want you to know. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what kind of day you having. I don't know what that last person put on you, right? I don't know what that last person could have been that person, right? And they got the funk, and oh my goodness gracious. But when you come here, when the door's open, when the call answers, I got you. I got you. Let's go. Let's go. That's what it's about. From the beginning to the end. That's what it's about.
Love it. And I'm in agreement. I think Ms. Nisi, I saw you agreeing too. So we all agree. So really quickly, I know you got so many things, but tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now, or what we can look forward to.
What I'm working on, I have a project that you all will be invited to as well. We'll probably use the folks at BOBM as well. As a matter of fact, we will. So we can go ahead and say that. But it's a project of love letters.
Oh.
That all of our successes are love stories. And our greatest successes are from parents to children and children to parents. And what I want is that in this space that we have best-selling authors, I want those best-selling authors to create more best-selling authors. And if you were able to sit and write a love letter to your parents, you should.
Oh.
For you as a parent, if you are a parent, to write a love letter to your child. That if your child is old enough to write, that they should write you a love letter, or they could look back, they could look into the future and say, dear child of mine, here's what I want for you. Here's what I wish for you. Here are my thoughts and dreams about you. To put together a series of books that tell a love story. The greatest love stories that exist are us to our own. And those stories need to be told. And here in Lincoln, Nebraska, I'm in the middle of the country. Not only do I own the radio station, but we just completed a deal where we're going to build a brand new station from the ground up.
Mm.
We then found a building that we wanted, so we don't have to go from the ground up. We just have to do bones and mortar. But there'll be a new radio station here in Lincoln, Nebraska in about 6 months that will change the way sports radio is done and received. It's going to be a coffee cafe, so you can come in and have coffee and meet the athletes and sit and do business meetings. And then we got to 5 or 6 businesses that make food. And each day, a different vendor will come in and feed the community. And we're sitting right 2 blocks from the campus, University of Nebraska.
Oh,
So
wow.
we are, I'm looking forward to it. There's several other projects in play. I'll be a spokesperson for the city's battle against colon cancer, because people of color lead the nation in those atrocities and being hit by it. So a lot of it's awareness, and what we're going to do, courtesy the folks from the health department here, is that they'll provide health kits free, for free. For everybody can test so that they'll know. You can do it from home, so there's no embarrassment, right? It's kind of like the COVID test. You can just do it at home, send it in, they'll give you a result as well. So that's coming up in March as well. So there's tons of good stuff going on. The universe is active, loving me, and I need to be active, loving it back.
I love that. And thank you for all you're bringing to the communities, because we need this stuff. We really do. Tell us where we can find you on social media and on the internet. Where can people look you up?
Yeah, my name is my brand. That's, if you type in my name, it'll tell you who I am, and you'll see what my actions are. Those are statements of action. Social media, Derrick Pearson. The radio station is 93.7 The Ticket FM in Lincoln, Nebraska. We stream, so we're worldwide. We're not a local station. We're worldwide. Husker Nation is worldwide. So covering the University of Nebraska, I get to hang out with some of the greatest athletes in history right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And it's really cool to watch these young athletes get their thing on and watch them grow up and mature, and then they go to the pros. Shout out Bryce McGowan's and company, who just went to the Charlotte Hornets. Go get your money, young man. But those are my people. And we have people, Green Valley right there in Arlington. They watch every day. They're connected. A community of coaches, and now a community of best-selling authors. So Derrick Pearson, just look it up, 93.7 The Ticket. Love Prints, LOVEPRINTS.US. It's how to reach me, how to book me, some theories on coaching, mentoring. I got a study program on that. So if you're trying to get your athlete into college, it teaches them how to study. Like, we actually have that process in place. And then finally, I create TED speakers. I'm a curator, I'm a TED master. So we're creating future TED speakers, going through the process. It's a master's course, but 10 people have taken it, 7 people have TEDs. So I think I'm pretty good at it.
Love it. And now I'm serious, right? Yeah, a double boom.
Boom.
It's nice. We're gonna have to get some plane tickets to go check this out once everything's done with what they're building.
Open invitation. Everything here is wide open. Lincoln, Nebraska, right down the road from Omaha. Good stuff, good people. So yeah.
Definitely have to check that out. Ms. Nisi, do you got anything else you want to add in before we close it out?
I'm full.
You're full. Me too. Me too. I knew I was going to get some good stuff, but it's always refreshing when you see it in real time. So again, thank you so much, not only for meeting with us and talking with us, but everything that you do. We really appreciate you. We need more of you in the world. So thank you.
Make more. That was the first TED Talk, was that in a time where we need more superheroes, we need to make them. We actually need to create them. And that's how this will be done. And I'll close with this, because that's the 3 things we say the most. Thank you for your invitation. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you're doing. Love you. Love every bit of you for who you are, as you are, in full. And at the end of this, and the end of the day, well done, ladies.
Receive. Go ahead and take us out, Ms. Nisi.
Well, folks, you've heard a good one today from Mr. Derrick D.P. Pearson. You need to come on back if you missed anything, so you can hear the great things that's going on with Mr. Pearson. Remember, you heard it here on The Winning Mindset. Thank you all so very much for joining us on The Winning Mindset.